Hello everybody. In this video we'll try to understand some more interesting things about Vishakha Nakshatra. In our previous videos we understood that Vishakha Nakshatra is obsessed about a goal. They fix a goal and they try to sacrifice their life for that goal. So they lose essence of their goal because they lose essence of their life basically because their life is something like they strive and struggle for their fixated goal, and most of their goals originate from envy and jealousy by seeing others. They like others grass more, they feel others grass is more greener than their own, and they are a bit envious and jealous about others achievements. So just like Indra, and in addition to those qualities, Vishakha has enormous amount of energy because of Agni, another deity of Vishakha, and they have burning fire inside to achieve their goals. But for outsiders, they maintain a kind of exterior calmness. So when you look at Vishakha people, you may feel them as cool personalities, but they are having that burning desire, burning fire inside going on. In addition to that, Vishakha people are a bit drunkards. They are also having obsession towards drinking and sex as well. So this sex and alcohol obsession is also present in Vishakha Nakshatra. So generally speaking, when a Vishakha person starts drinking for the first time, most of the times it's very possible that they become very big drunkards, but still they fix their goal inside and they try to achieve that goal. It's completely a perfect combination of Indra and Agni, and in the age of Kali it's very much probable that Vishakha people fix some unwholesome goals and they try to achieve those unwholesome goals in unethical paths, kind of bad paths, you can say. They follow bad paths. They don't care following bad paths. Even more, they don't care about putting their own dear ones in danger to achieve their goals. And you can observe 10 out of 100 Vishakhas would be having a very good goal and they may follow an ethical path to achieve their goals. So if you observe the professions a Vishakha person, a Vishakha native can excel at, or their natural frequency, or the universal energy promoting them, the professions, they are related to alcohol and liquor industry. Bartenders, manual laborers, fashion models and actresses, all professions involving use of speech like TV and radio broadcasters, politicians, marching bands, sports persons, especially sports requiring Herculean efforts. Vishakha people generally have a lot of energy. That burning fire inside can give them a lot of energy, and the kind of goals they imagine or they actually put in their life a kind of Herculean task only, not simple tasks. They want to be in the number one place, right? Just like Indra. And even cults and other types of ideological fanatics, religious fundamentalists, professional agitators, soldiers, dancers, critics, criminals and mafia, custom and immigration officials, policing jobs, guards, prostitution and militant revolutionaries. These are all different professional areas where Vishakha people can excel at. Basically, Vishakha people can do so many professions. They are very much good at so many professions because of that burning fire. When a person has burning fire inside, always running on, then the person can do any kind of task in their life, in his life, right? So that is Vishakha. But the kind of burning desire that they have, it originates out of their envy and jealousy, you know. So that is the problem. That is the only problem. Otherwise, if Vishakha energy is put in a right direction for a right task, for universal well-being, then nobody can beat Vishakha. Vishakha is something like it's one of the greatest stars in the whole nakshatra system, you can say. But they also have a tendency to switch professions as well, and but accept that a bit of poisonous uh, that emotional thinking, that is, the other things are very good with Vishakha, the kind of burning desire and the kind of goals they fix, the kind of approach they may take, right? uh, is really, it's a bit questionable, of course, but the burning desire is a good thing, right? And the kind of places that Vishakha energy we can perceive is a rocky, rough terrains, mountains, big cities like New York, breweries, bars, liquor shops, brothels, theaters, military bases, ceremonial halls, and grounds as well. Basically, Vishakha is about this partying also, as we discussed in our previous videos, and even interrogation rooms, warring grounds, danger areas either in the city or designated by the military, all places connected with the professions that we discussed so far is all Vishakha energy. And it is supposed to be a Sattvic nakshatra. You may think, the burning desire and fixing the goals, right? But fixing unwholesome goals and following a bad path is a kind of bad thing. Then how come this Vishakha has become a Sattvic nakshatra? See, this relates to Vishakha's intense capacity for hard work and penance. And Vishakha is ready to sacrifice a lot of their life, even complete life, for the attainment of its goals, a quality that you can segregate as a Sattvic quality. And Vishakha's Sattvic quality is more reliable to come out when planets like Sun, Moon, and Jupiter occupy this nakshatra. And it belongs to the fire element due to its close association with its deity Agni, and the fire becomes the primary element of Vishakha. So, and one more important thing, it is considered as a Rakshasa or demonic nakshatra. You may think Agni and Indra are the deities of this nakshatra, then how come it became demonic? Keeping in mind its basic nature and traits, our Vedic seeds actually segregated it as a Rakshasa nakshatra to emphasize that Rakshasa behavior, something like keeping unwholesome goals and following a bad path to achieve that goal. A complete disregard for others is also considered as a demonic quality for Vishakha, and it's one of the nakshatras which displays it to the peaks. They don't care about their own dear ones, their own loved ones to achieve their goal. That is also a demonic quality. So it is because of the selfish approach that it is classified as a demonic, even though both of its ruling deities are gods, some demigods you can say, Indra and Agni. And it is a downward looking nakshatra. See, its downward nakshatras imply containment and contraction, and it is Vishakha's duty to contain its multifarious desires. And like all the other nakshatras, um, it's a worldly nakshatra, right? And has a lot of ambition in relation to its role in the world. And it's a downward nakshatra. It goes about attaining these goals in a secretive and underhanded manner, and most of its real intent and activities are concealed from others. Basically, they don't reveal. They may put a goal and they have burning desire inside to achieve them, but they don't say it to the outside world. Only you can understand their goals from their own associated ones. From them only you can come to know what are their goals, to some extent, not fully, because they don't reveal their complete goals, right? So that is Vishakha's energy. Fundamentally, Vishakha is that, right? And it is a mixed nakshatra. It is sharp as well as soft. So this classification once again here emphasizes the duality that is present in Vishakha, right? Vishakha itself means forked, right? it's it's something like Vishakha itself has the dual nature inherent, and it has that soft disposition. Actually, the pleasure seekingness side is basically uh, that softness, and its sharpness relates to its fixity of purpose. It has a fixed goal, right? Something like, take a movie star. If he has a lot of Vishaka energy, and the movie star may have a goal of becoming number one in the movie industry, but he may not reveal it. He may put some soft exterior for outside world, but inside he has that burning desire. And whatever he does, you know, let us say he's making a movie, he makes it something like a kind of uh, it's a kind of impossible movie, that kind of movie the native can make. And again, once he reaches that goal, he again tries to make another movie which is much more, you know, uh, bigger than the previous one, and kind of he has that goal of achieving that number one position, but he may not reveal it for outside world. He just, he just looks very soft, and he talks very normally, with some calm exterior, right? So here there is a softer side in Vishakha. Otherwise, let us imagine a native having burning desire coming out of envy and jealousy by seeing others, and he has a secretive goal to achieve something great. And if the person is not having the softness associated, then the person may become a kind of psychopath. But here Vishakha has the soft nature associated with it, which is actually stopping Vishakha natives to become psychopaths, right? So the softer side is what stops Vishakha types from turning into complete psychopaths, and at times it just acts as uh, a kind of disguise which lets them get away with their darker activities as well. The soft side of Vishakha is also teaching them that, okay, you have this darker side, please keep in mind, and please keep yourself comfortable. Please don't be very much obsessed towards your darker side. Of course, you have a darker side, but make make it the leveling of the balancing of the darker side is also possible for Vishakha natives, because they have the softer side associated. So this softer side is teaching Vishakha not to be very much indulged or obsessed with the darker side. And it relates to the first half of the lunar month of Vaishakha, which usually falls in early May. And Vishakha is also related to Shashti and Saptami, that is 6th and 7th Tidhi, or days of the waxing and waning phases of the moon's monthly cycle. So first half of Vaishakha Masa is actually having a lot of Vishakha's energy. So Vaishakha Masa is the Masa, or the month, where the full moon, the Paurnami day, usually occurs on the day of Vishakha Nakshatra. That's why the month is called as Vaishakha Masa. And the kind of good activities or auspicious activities we can perform on the day of Vishakha is something like aggressive and warlike activities. Vishakha has that burning desire and can keep the things turn on for a long time. That kind of energy is very much good. That for aggressive and warlike activities, and any activity requiring executive ability is good to perform on the day of Vishakha. And getting things done which require an argumentative approach and harsh activity is also very good to perform on the day of Vishakha Nakshatra. Any activity requiring strong mental focus and working toward one's goals. All types of ceremonies, functions, and parties you can start on the day of Vishakha. And awards or decoration ceremonies and dressing up, ornamentation, decorating oneself, romance and sexual activity is also good on the day of Vishakha, because Vishakha can keep the burning desire on for a long time. And performing penance, making resolutions is all. Vishakha has that very, very great energy alive. Of course, it may not show it up for outside world. It may be very common very calm for exterior world, but inside the burning desire is always present. It's always turned on. And the inauspicious activities, right, on the day of Vishakha, that means better you do not perform on these activities on the day of Vishakha. The first one is marriage. Second one is it's not good for travel, and initiations of any kind better you do not do on this day, because generally Vishakha's energy, the burning desire, generally starts out of envy and jealousy, and it keeps turn on the desire, and then finally, of course, it may achieve its goal, but the kind of path it follows is very, very, it's not in accordance with the universal and the pure energy flow. It's against the universal uh, universal positive energy, you can say. It's against that. So any activity requiring diplomacy or tact, better you do not perform on the day of Vishakha. So Venus, Mars, Pluto, Ketu, and Jupiter. Generally, people discuss about these planets. Discuss these planets when they try to focus on Vishakha, because Venus, it's Vishakha. Most of the Vishakha lies in Libra. Libra's owner is Venus. Then Mars, because Vishakha fourth is in Scorpio, and the ruler there in Scorpio is Mars. Then Pluto, of course, many people associate Pluto with this particular energy, Vishakha's energy. And Ketu is another energy, of course, that Scorpio sign is associated with Ketu according to some astrologers. So they talk about Ketu when they try to discuss Vishakha. And Jupiter, obviously, it is the nakshatra ruler for Vishakha nakshatra. See, Jupiter is the main ruler of this particular nakshatra, and others like Venus, Mars, Pluto, and Ketu rule the signs as well, or Vishakha. Something like Pluto also some people associate with Libra energy, and Jupiter connects to this nakshatra through Indra. Basically, he is the preceptor, and Indra's preceptor is Brihaspati, basically, and you can say Jupiter is nothing but Brihaspati. That's what I want to tell here, actually. And of course, it has association with Indra, and Jupiter supports most of Indra's objectives and ambitions as well, right? So even though the activities are unwholesome, but still Jupiter supports, and its natural benevolence, grace, and good fortune can be used for extravagance under the influence of this nakshatra. So Jupiter supports Vishakha's energy even though it's very unwholesome. So Venus, Jupiter's counterpart and adversary, is connected with first three padas of Vishakha. It is the natural antagonism between the energies of these two planets, which makes Vishakha a turbulent nakshatra. The Venus and Jupiterian energies, Venusian and Jupiterian energies are a bit to some extent they are same, but they are actually Venus behavior is a kind of Daitya behavior, is a Rakshasa behavior, whereas Jupiter's behavior is a kind of Sattvic or kind of Daiva behavior, people generally say. And there's a natural antagonism between the energies of Jupiter and Venus. That's where the energy of Vishakha is becoming a kind of turbulent, and a lot of Indra's Venusian excesses, as enumerated in numerous Puranic stories, are not sanctioned by Jupiter, and it goes without saying that Indra lands into some sort of trouble each time, because the kind of activities Vishakha energy performs is they're unwholesome basically. So that's where Vishakha people land into some troubles, and that is also that kind of sense also they have. That's why they want to keep their goals secretive also sometimes, or most of the times you can say. And in the fourth pada, if you observe, Mars co-rules along with Jupiter, and the energy is more sorted out but has a military tone to it, right? Because Mars and Jupiter, they are okay, fine, well, go with each other. And the Pluto or Ketu influence in the Scorpio part of Vishakha lends a great deal of impulsiveness as well. And the explosive drama and self-destructiveness is also awakened in Scorpio energy as well. So, but still, Vishakha 4, some astrologers may think this particular pada may allow the may have energy to make the natives a kind of psychopaths, but still it is stopped somewhere, you know. So only when channeled into more occult areas can this energy act as a vehicle for transformation. So whenever Vishakha 4 people, whenever they get problems because of their psychological imbalances, emotional imbalances, or kind of worrisome attitude they have, better they approach these occult sciences, astrology, or any kind of uh, palmistry, Reiki healing. There's so many, right? Tarot. Better they go in these areas, especially astrology. Then they get some answers. Then their mind would go fine. It will cool down. That's what I want to tell. Otherwise, it's very difficult for Vishakha fourth pada people to balance their emotional turbulences. And wherever you see Vishakha, the Venus and Jupiter combination, that also has a tendency acting as this Vishakha energy, because Vishakha is nothing but Venus and Jupiter combination, especially in that Libra area, right? And Venus and Mars also has this Vishakha tendency, because Scorpio has Mars and Venus is uh, Venusian energy is also associated with Vishakha to some extent, uh, right? Venus Mars, Venus Jupiter are kind of Mars Jupiter combination, Venus Mars Ketu combination, right? Or Jupiter Mars Ketu Venus combination. This is all similar to Vishakha energy, right? See, Jupiter functions well in this nakshatra in the present day and age, you can say, right? Oh, in the Sanskrit literature, you can see Vishakha corresponds to Vishakha has the energy, the mantra energy of Om Dham and Om Nam. This particular, these two mantras are good for the people having the negative impact due to Vishakha, Om Dham and Om Nam, because these are all the alphabets associated. This Tha and Na are the alphabets associated with this Vishakha energy. And its sexual animal is a tiger. So you can see the aggressive and dominant attitude in sexual activities related to Vishakha energy. It is mostly compatible with Chitra, the other tiger nakshatra. And uh, see, if you try to understand Vishakha in some layer by layer, if you try to understand, and if you slowly start understanding the energy of Vishakha, see now globally famous Radha Krishna love story, right? That actually exemplifies Vishakha's inner energy. Layer by layer, if you try to understand, see different layers of energy, and also these layers of energy act based upon the entire horoscope, the energy pumping of Vishakha, how much it is being manifested in a person's life. It depends upon other planetary positions as well, right? So, if a person has, let us say, Vishakha energy, that's at the same time, let us say Mars is very much exalted somewhere. Just imagine the person can become a great warrior, and the kind of burning desire the person has, and also the envy and jealousy, this particular energy associated with Vishakha, if the person is a king, let us say, then he would be envious and jealous about others' kingdoms, and he would try to occupy other kingdoms. And anyways, he has Vishakha's burning desire, Vishakha energy he has. At the same time, Mars is exalted and Mars is very, very comfortable. So the person can become a very great warrior king. So the whole horoscope is to be checked. And at the same time, Mars is also exalted. Then what about the Lagna Lord? Lagna Lord should also be very good. Then only the person would have very good energy. Then he can occupy so many other kingdoms. So slowly, layer by layer, you need to understand the whole energy of the horoscope, a whole, how much the Vishakha energy, how much the horoscope is able to take, right? So you need to check in that way, right? So whenever you talk about Vishakha, the other thing we talk about is Radha Krishna love story. So this is the reason why Vishakha has Radha as one of its names. But before Radha Krishna, also there are some astrologers who say Vishakha has the name Radha before Radha Krishna was born, also because Radha means delightful. So Vishakha always in that area, the partying and the alcohol, sex and drinking, this kind of enjoyment, always 24/7 having that kind of attitude, that kind of enjoyment attitude they have, Vishakha energy people. In addition to the fixing the goal and following unwholesome path and achieving the goal, this is, of course, this story is also there, but at the same time, a partying nature is also there. The enjoyment, more than this partying, and it's not like partying and becoming very social. It's not that angle. It's something like when you take some alcohol. When a person takes alcohol, the kind of energy, the kind of enjoyment a person has, and alcohol is, of course, it's not good for health. I want to just note. I want to tell that point as well. But still, these Vishakha natives are into that, right? Now, Radha Krishna story, right? That we have to, whenever Vishakha energy we talk about Radha's. See, Radha was already married to someone when she fell in love with Krishna, right? So she was already married, but after marriage, married to someone else, actually, not with Krishna. She married to someone else, but after the marriage, she fell in love with Krishna and romanced him in his childhood years. But since Krishna was Vishnu's incarnation, this was not an ordinary love, because Krishna was not an ordinary person. There are ample amount of stories, ample amount of examples which can clearly clarify that Krishna is not a normal force, it's a godly force. He is actually a god, right? Someone falling in love with God, and God would also accepting that it's not a normal thing. So this particular love, it's not an ordinary love. It basically epitomized a desire on Radha's part to merge with universal energies, right? It's something like as a lover, Radha wants to merge with the beautiful universal energy of Krishna. The kind of love between Radha and Krishna is a kind of magical. And Vishakha's longing for perfection. Vishakha means longing also, because they fix a goal and they struggle, strive, they work hard for their whole life, they sacrifice their life, they long a lot to achieve that goal. So longing is Vishakha's fundamental nature. So Vishakha's longing for perfection and enlightenment is always expressed in terms of love and relationships. It basically, of course, not more often, but still, it breaks societal conventions and moralistic taboos also. Because when Vishakha loves somebody, they even do not care about this social norms, morality, all this stuff. So Vishakha does not distinguish between fun, frolic and pain of such relationships and tapasya, the intense spiritual practice leading to knowledge and enlightenment. So there is nothing. It's Vishakha has no boundaries basically. Let it take fun activity. It's a fun, and let us say they are into that fun. They don't care about morals and anything. Let us say they are into some kind of love. They don't care about morality. They don't care about all the conditions, rules and all. They love, that's it. They love a lot. They are obsessed about that. Then let us say they have some relationship. That's it. There is no conditions for them. Just like Indra loves somebody, and there are so many stories that, let us say Indra likes a woman and the woman is already married. Then when the person is out of his house, Indra would come in the form of that woman's husband and try to romance with that woman. Indra doesn't have any kind of rules and norms and conditions. If he likes, if he loves, that's it. No boundaries, no conditions. Unconditionally he can do. He does not have any condition. Well, let us say Indra energy now wants moksha. So the person has to do some tapasya, right? As a kind of tapasya is what is a spiritual practice that can give moksha, liberation. And there are no boundaries. That's it. No conditions, no morality, nothing. Just do tapasya and get moksha. That's it. The goal fixing here, right? The sharpness associated with goal fixing is Vishakha. So this is Vishakha basically. There are no boundaries and no conditions. See, its ultimate goal is experiencing the divine in and through relationship with the divine itself. That is Vishakha, right? And as I said, Vishakha once fix a goal, it doesn't care about anything. And Vishakha is the 16th nakshatra in the nakshatra sequence. It relates to the number 16, a number which is seen as the number of tragedy, upheaval, ruin and turmoil. See, the destruction and ruin here is only of that which stands against the universal will, right? If Vishakha Nakshatra's energy, they generally put that unwholesome goals. If that unwholesome goal is completely against the universal will, then definitely Vishakha would see the destruction, because no energy is greater than the universal energy. And Vishaka's path is not all romance and roses always, right? They may have different goals. See, Radha spent a major part of her life pinning for Krishna after he left for taking care of the purpose behind his incarnation. So, so this intense nature, right? She actually spent a major part of her life for Krishna, just waiting for Krishna, longing for Krishna. So this particular longing and pain of separation is Vishakha's energy. It's associated with Vishakha, right? But still her love is present after a long time as well, regardless of outer circumstances, regardless of uh, immorality. See, after marriage, loving someone is not a moral thing. Even in those days, it was immoral. But still, Radha did it, right? And she had the longing for Krishna. And you understood the flavor of this energy now, right? So, in the universal energies, if you observe, Vishakha relates to a power, the power to make, manifest, and achieve various things. Vishakha energy, that burning energy, can achieve so many things. So, even its symbolism has is showing that, right? And it's a fruitful nakshatra on the material plane, even though there are some turbulences and the pain, everything. So it's generally on the material plane, it's very fruitful. If they want to achieve some material things, yes, they can achieve, even especially in the age of Kali, you can say. See, its spiritual path is something like it lies elsewhere. The material results are good here. The material results here usually come with persistent and patient effort, just like the finest wine takes a long time to be ready for consumption after the grains have been put through the brewing process, and one day you will see a very good uh, kind of luxurious and very very uh, uh, you know a very good wine you would see one day. So such kind of Vishaka has that longing associated with it. After longing, yes, most of the times it would get success, even even though they have some unwholesome goals and unwholesome attitude, and the kind of path they follow is unethical, but still they get some results. They can achieve them also. Even Jupiter allows it. So that's where Vishakha is actually, even though sometimes it is going against the universal will, but still gaining something. But if the whole goal is completely against the universal will, then there is a kind of ruin and destruction is seen in Vishaka's energy. Just like Indra's stories, you just see so many Indra Puranic stories. Indra's just, like Indra. So this nakshatra is related to sage Vasishtha, one of the seven celestial sages looking after the affairs of our galaxy. So the name Vasishtha means possessor of wealth, as we discussed in other nakshatras as well, because Vasishtha, other nakshatras are also associated with Vasishtha. So we can imagine that Vishakha must relate to sages' capacity for penance, and you can say Vishakha people, according to Varaha Mihira, when moon is present in Vishakha Nakshatra, the person is jealous, greedy, clever with words, skilled at earning money, is a bit quarrelsome, and he is a bit quarrelsome, but he can earn money for sure. He is good in, he has some skills in making money. See, for those suffering from bad effects resulting from this nakshatra, the best remedial measure is worshipping of the 8 Vasus, and alternatively they can also worship half Vishnu and half Shiva form, commonly known as Harihara. See, the practice of Raja Yoga, which involves the rising of the Kundalini through the 7 sacred centers, is one of the best ways to utilize this particular nakshatra's energy. And there are so many mantras associated with this, as we discussed: Om Dham, Om Nam. Similar to that, Om Yam and Om Ram also are the good mantras for Vishakha's energy, to avoid the negative energy of Vishakha if you have some negative energy of Vishakha in your horoscope. And on the day of lunar days of this particular Vishakha, that is in the Vaishakha Masa, the first initial days of Vaishakha Masa has Vishakha's energy. Especially in those days, if you chant these mantras, Om Dham, Om Nam, or Om Yam, Om Ram, then there would be some kind of, at least 1 or 8 times a day you need to chant. Then you would see significant change in the negative Vishakha's energy, right? In your life path, you can clearly observe this one. And even the people having some beneficial effects because of this nakshatra, they can also chant this mantra. And the kind of colors they have to use, see, it's very helpful for them to wear colors like red, blue and gold, and better they use the directions associated with Vishakha. And there are some people like, having moon in Vishakha, it's something like, they are a bit obsessive. Generally, I observed. Basically, obsession is very much observed with Vishakha's energy. It can be obsession towards alcohol or sex, or fixing a goal and striving and sacrificing their whole life is what's seen in Vishakha's energy. This is the fundamental energy, because Vishakha is nothing but the burning fire, always on. So that's about Vishakha's energy. Thanks for watching this video. This is the final part of Vishakha. In the next video, we'll try to talk about another great nakshatra, that is Anuradha Nakshatra, right? As one of the greatest nakshatras. So it's the 17th nakshatra, Anuradha. We'll talk about that in our next video. Thanks for watching this video.